Hello everyone, my name is Chang. Today I'm going to talk about the burden of proof fallacy. The burden of proof fallacy means that it is whose responsibility to find evidence and prove something is right or wrong. The burden of proof should fall on the shoulder of the person making a claim, instead of person who is opposed against his claim. That means if you say something is true, it is you that need to prove it is right. However, the claim maker who use the burden of proof fallacy often transfer the burden of proof onto the shoulder of the people who is against his claim. To sum up, the claim maker expects somebody to prove that his claim is false, hoping that their failure will prove his claim correct. The most famous example of burden of proof are the argument between Christian and the atheist. The burden of proof fallacy is commonly seen in believer who is declaring that atheists cannot prove God doesn't exist. However, it should be those Christians that prove the existence of God rather than the atheist. Although another common example of burden of proof is in the court. However, the situation is a bit different in the court. In lawsuit, it is plaintiff that take the burden of proof that the defendant is guilty, because there is a rule called presumption of innocence. For example, years ago, Dingxin issue was notorious. The damage was huge and there is a lot of clues that might prove Yin Chong Wei is guilty. However, a year later, the judge claimed that all the evidence cannot perfectly related to what Yin Chong Wei have done. So, he is not guilty now. Although it seems very ridiculous and unbelievable, that is the way of law in Taiwan. The burden of proof seems to protect the defendant instead. The fight between Christian and atheists make me think of one time I met two preachers in campus. And when they start to preach on me, I struck them first before they use the burden of proof fallacy on me. I said, I think there is no God, and there is no Buddha or Muhammad. They freak out, and then they look very nervous and start to explain the existence of God to me. But all I did is brush them off and run away. Thank you. Is my speech.